A scene swap, the site of the Supreme Court of Poland before more than a third of its judges were forced to retire, and the site after. Media outside the court capturing large-scale protests, and even first president of the Supreme Court Małgorzata Gersdorf defying the new law and making her way into the court she is technically no longer part of. The mayhem caused by reforms created by the Law and Justice Party, also known as the PiS, the ruling faction in Poland. After the Conservative Party came into power back in 2015, they immediately began changing the judicial system. One new law changes the retirement age of judges from 70 to 65, effectively ending more than a third of judges' careers early. These judges not only decide cases, but also decide the validity of elections. 27 of 72 judges will be effectively kicked off the bench. Those who support the changes say many of these judges are from the communist era, and the PiS is simply cleaning up the system.
Elections have consequences, so the people, the elected officials, actually have a say. In Poland, the judges appoint themselves. You don't have a rule of law. You have essentially the rule of lawyers.
So you don't see this as an end to judicial independence like so many critics are saying?
No, absolutely not. In fact, it would sort of be reinvigorating democracy within judicial. It would be making it like any other democracy in the West.
The law opens a door for the nomination of dozens of judges. Those who are being forced into retirement can submit an application to Polish President Andrzej Duda for an extension to their tenure. Critics say this will allow the president to handpick which judges stay and which ones go. Global Policy Institute President Paulo von Schirach says this is not in line with European Union's goals.
Principles of constitutional and democratic rule, and one of them includes an independent judiciary. Clearly, the ruling party in Poland is working openly to undermine this principle by making the government the decider of judicial appointees and therefore making them an instrument of the executive.
This all comes as a power struggle brews within the EU. Some want power to be centralized within the European Union. Others, like the Polish government, want to shift power back to specific countries. The EU has also said the country is at risk for some pretty serious sanctions.
There's a couple of ways they can hurt Poland. One is the attempt to cut their funds in the budget, and the other is well, they have a variety of ways. But one is basically it's cutting the funds, or the other is actually cutting their voting rights.
Von Schirach says there is potential for it to be more serious than that.
This could be ground for suspension of Polish membership.
It's unlikely, however, because it would need to be a unanimous decision, and Hungary has already said it would shelter their ally to the north. But still, the EU backlash has been severe. EU judges are supporting their Polish counterparts like Judge Gersdorf, who want to finish out their term.
Common sense would dictate that you don't change the rules mid-course.
Yet the PiS is pressing on. New proposals would also allow President Duda to replace the Chief Justice when only 2/3 of the bench is filled, versus current law requiring no vacancies on the court. That means a new Chief Justice could be named sooner and with less support. The other would allow Duda's appointees to work even before their nominations are confirmed.